Guys, the internet is killing boxing. Every time you open up your social media apps or whatever, there's the latest flashy thing for you to work on, where the coach is working hard and what the person actually hitting the pads is with all this. The best boxers do the basics. They do the basics exceptionally well though. So in this video, I'm going to give you 10 things that you should be working on in all of your workouts that you do, so you have a foundation to work on to get you better at boxing. For the sake of repeating myself, number one, your stance is literally the foundation of where everything comes from. Yeah, I see so many people trying the fancier, they see Canelo somewhere and but what they're doing is they've got their feet like this. You need to be able to have your base settled, your weight distributed properly, whether you're in a southpaw stance or an orthodox stance. You need to drill this. You need to be able to move this around. But you see a lot of people very front foot heavy all the time these days as well. This is not right. It's part of it, but it's not right. Okay? You need a balanced stance. You need the ability to move forwards, laterally, diagonally, in any direction without losing that stance. If your feet are too bladed, you're losing power. You're also not particularly balanced should you take an incoming lateral hit. You need to make sure your stance is settled. Number one. Number two is a big pain in my backside. Footwork. You need to work your footwork. It is literally the most important thing that you could possibly be working. It is your delivery system. How the hell do you get your punches to your target if you can't take your stance around with you somewhere and remain balanced? I don't care if you can do the flashiest up jab in the world if every time you move that way you step that foot. Because how hard can you throw a punch in that stance? It's awful. Yes, you need to get basic footwork. You don't have to have Lomachenko style footwork. Okay, you need to understand this bit before you go off and do that. It is as simple as little movements. And all too often, what I want you to watch for, people take their movements far too big. Yeah? Everything's little movements. You want to be as compact and energy efficient as you possibly can. You don't need these huge steps, okay? The other thing to look for is make sure, however far the first foot is moving, the other foot is moving as well, because it's your stance. It's the number one thing we just spoke about. If I do a little step and a big step, just lost my stance. And it might sound boring, because it is boring. But you need to work just being able to move this around and take this, whether you're more pendulum style, yeah, or whether you're a little bit more conservative with your footwork from here, you need to be able to move that around in every direction you can. To this day, my next birthday, I'm 50. And I started doing this when I was 6. To this day, I still work my footwork because little things creep in when you don't concentrate on it. So make sure every workout that you're doing, you're working something to do with your footwork. Number 3, another big gripe of mine, your guard. Right, you got to think like this. I'll tell you the reason why you keep putting your hands down. Because you're lazy. Yeah? Oh, yeah, but so you know when people with their hands down, yeah, it's because you're lazy. Yeah? Keep your hands up. It's actually that simple. And if not, you're just going to get punched. At the end of the day, when you're boxing, you are either a weapon or you are a target. Yeah? Oh yeah, but I'm doing head movement. Yeah, you're a moving target. Yeah? Keep your hands up. It's not too high, it's not down here somewhere, okay? It's level with your chin and you put your chin down, okay? And now I can fight out of that. Yeah? Oh yeah, but I've got, man, I can do all that, I'm cool. I don't care if you think you look cool, okay? Keep your hands up. Basic guard, your elbows should be tight, not flaring like this. We've covered this loads of times. If I'm flaring my elbows, I can't punch very hard because this is a hinge joint. It will only work in one range of motion. So if my elbows are there, my jab has to go in an arc. It has to. Even if I pull my shoulder, the mechanics of that suggest it's arcing. Therefore, it's not going to be as powerful as it is if it comes straight from underneath the hand. Simple things. We'll talk about having a reactive and proactive guard in a bit because it's another bugbear of mine. People do this as well. So you could, oh yeah, I saw something the other day. Let's work on this tonight in the gym. When we're coming back, we're going to split this way. We're going to come around here, but your chin is up all the time. You need to work fundamentally with your guard. It's just here. That's all it is. Just here. None of this. Yeah. None of this. It's just here. Working your guard. I can punch out of this. So, let's move on. Punching technique. Fundamental punching technique. Doesn't have to be fancy, doesn't have to be flash. You just have to be aware of the technique that you're trying to do. There's a lot of people will turn around, particularly that I've heard of in my lifetime, saying, oh, I don't have a very good jab, it's weak. It's a technique thing. Not everyone's going to have an amazing jab, I understand that, but you need to work. You need to look at yourself in the mirror, film yourself on one of these things that everyone has in their pockets these days. Make sure you're not doing the common mistakes. Not flaring the elbows we just spoke about. Make sure you're not doing this common one. Drop the hand, throw it out, or throw it out and roll it back down again. Because more experienced boxers will look for mistakes like that. They will use their guard to take a few shots and look for little mistakes. So every time he throws his jab, he's rolling his hand. Cool. As soon as you throw your jab, that one's coming because you're not taking your hand back to home base. Look for the other common mistakes. Yeah. Same thing, someone with more experience is going to look for and download information on you. Drops his right hand every time he throws his jab. Cool. Going to catch you with something. Work on your punch technique. Be diligent about your drills. You do not have to be the fastest or the most powerful in the gym. You just have to make sure you're doing it right and keep that foundation safe. Number 5, you need to be able to do number 4, your correct punching technique, but you need to do it in punching combinations. Another big, all right, so yes, you can work big combinations on the pads. It's doing your shoulder endurance, which you do need. I agree with that as well. Truth of the matter is, sparring or back in the day when I was in competition, probably didn't throw more than 4 punches in one go. I might have done occasionally if someone's caught in the corner or on the ropes, I might have thrown more, but usually it's 1, 2 or 3 punches, then move. But you need to be able to put these in good chain together. They don't have to always be hard. We've spoke about this before. I'm about to hit a punch bag with no gloves on. I don't recommend that. Okay, they don't have to be hard. Some of them are set-up shots, but I still need to be turning. I might be working to work a big shot in. Most of the time, I'm probably going to throw around about 3 punches. Jab, cross, jab works really, really well. You don't need these huge 32 punch combinations. You just need to be able to chain a few punches together and not always one side, then the other, then the other. You need to be able to chain some same side stuff together. And 1, 2, 1, 3, 2. 1, 5, 2, yeah? 1, 2, 2. You don't need massively complicated stuff. You just need to be able to work it together well. Number 6, defense. Of course you need to be able to defend yourself. This includes Head movement, blocks and parries, but also, we spoke about it before, guard. A big bugbear of mine is people who have their hands up like this for a guard. Yeah, my elbows are out, so because I've got my chin up. You can't throw punches from there. You need to have a reactive and a proactive guard. So you see people doing this from the side, okay? Stood nice and straight, hands up here, shielding the eyes from the sun is what we call it from here. But what the hell punches can I throw from here? Let's have a quick look at how that looks. It doesn't look good, does it? Doesn't look good at all. You need to compact yourself. When you have a good, correct guard, you can defend yourself a hell of a lot easier and it will make more sense. For instance, now we all know I'm a southpaw. I'm better at doing this southpaw. My hands are level with my chin. My chin goes down into my hands, and then if I need to pull in a high guard, all I have to do is shrug my shoulders here. Now you might think that I can't see you from there. I can. And I can punch from there. The key thing is, when is someone most open? It isn't when they're here. They're most open when they're throwing a shot. At some point they have a hand away from their face, therefore there is an opening. If you do not have a reactive stroke proactive guard, you can't defend yourself and attack at the same time. If you want to be a bit of a bully in sparring, and I have a good high guard, not like this, but I'm nice and crunched over, I can still see you. As soon as you start to throw a punch, I can throw some shots back. I cannot throw punches from here. I have to drop my hands to throw, because otherwise I'd be doing this. Yeah, that's awful. Here, I can bite out of my guard. Defense. Your catches, your parries, you need to work on these continuously. Quite a lot of the time, when people don't pay attention to it, they end up swatting flies. What I mean by that, rather than keep themselves nice and compact and working here, they end up kind of like, all you're doing is creating openings. You can stay nice and tight, parries. Remember, they're not, to take the hand out of the way, I'm not swatting a fly. I'm just turning, do it slowly. Nothing's moved. I haven't opened myself out. Same with this hand. That's all it is. Now, I don't have to worry if that's a jab to the head or a jab to the body or a cross, whichever. If I try and stop the cross to the body or the jab to the body by doing that or that, look, I'm open. Jab comes in this way. Hand's got it. Jab comes this way. Elbow's got it. It just has to be nice and tight and compact. Your slips, they're not, this is not a slip. That missed me by about that much. Cool. It's just nice movement. Here, slips, slips. You don't have to be like this. Let me know in the comments if you know someone in sparring who doesn't work on their head movement that much. So when you do spar with them, it's all like this. Movement is compact. Keep your foundation, your fundamentals nice and tight. Yeah, you don't have to make huge movements. Make sure you're not making huge movements with your hands to defend something. That's another common one you see people do. When hook comes in, covering up. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, just sitting behind your hand. Yeah, from a high guard, just open it, make sure it returns to home base. I had my head up a little bit there so you could see, but I'm just here. Yeah, elbows, elbows. Everything's compact. You need a reactive and proactive guard. Number 7, head movement. This is all part of the fundamentals you should be working. And we just spoke about head movement. I'm talking about after you punch. A lot of people get popped because of what I just said about every time you throw a punch, you have to take your hand away from your safe position. So every time you throw a punch or a combination of punches, you need to be moving your head afterwards. It's when you're likely to get attacked. At the end of the day, the best time to hit someone is as they're hitting you. Yes, there's things like guard, if you can get their hands up, you can manipulate guards and stuff, that's cool, that's fantastic. That's when they're being a target. They're just shelled up from here and not fighting you back. But you need to be able to move your head after you throw punches. There's no good, and it's a big, I moan at people in here all the time. And we all do it, I dare say I do it as well. We're working on whatever, and you hit, boom! And your head's here, in lane two, boom, boom! It's in here, nothing's happening. You need to be moving that head after you've punched. We call it move your hands, move your head, move your feet. It's as simple as that. Even if I stay here, imagine, and I'm doing it in orthodox, so it might go wrong. If I'm sparring you and I throw a combination and I move my head, but I'm still here, you know where I am. Yeah. Move your hands, move your head, move your feet. Move your hands, move your head, move your feet. It's a simple strategy that you can employ if you don't already do it to make you better at boxing. Just those three things. Move your hands, move your head, move your feet. If you're not doing it already, make sure you give that a go. Obviously, conditioning is a big thing as well. You need to be fit to be able to do this. You need plenty of shoulder endurance. You need to work on your pushing muscles, but you also need to work on your pulling muscles to be able to retract a punch. If you're watching this, you probably have an interest in boxing or combat sports. You're possibly already doing it. We know skipping is a good thing. We know that running, hill sprint is a good thing. Hit your bag, work your pads, shadow box. You don't need to be, in my opinion, you don't need to be running miles and miles and miles and miles. Because I'm not going to be running miles and miles and miles around a boxing ring or an MMA cage or something like that. But I need to be able to get my heart rate up and down and recover pretty quickly. Personally, as I've already stated, my next birthday I'm 50 years old. I still do about 10 rounds a day personally, and whatever that I have to do in the classes as well. Keeps me fit, keeps me healthy. I'm never going to compete again. I don't want to compete again. I'm too old for that sort of thing. But keeps me in good shape. You need to keep on top of your conditioning. Don't be lazy. Okay? No one has ever done well in boxing by being lazy. People have done well by outworking other people. Back in the day, we used to say cardio was a weapon. If I can keep breathing longer than the person in front of me can, I'm probably going to outlast them. Don't take the easy road on conditioning. Yes, it's hard. Yes, it hurts. Skipping does your legs in a lot, but you need to skip. Gets you light on your toes, gets you able to move around nice and quickly. Don't skip on that. Well, do skip, but don't skip skipping. Make sure you're working your conditioning all of the time. Strategy, ring IQ, you need to be working on that. You need to be thinking about that all of the time. You often see in the beginning two novice boxers, they follow each other around the ring. One's, say this person's being a bit more aggressive and this person's backing out towards the ropes, and then they end up kind of like following each other around the ring all the time. Comes down to your footwork as well. If I can't take my stance around the ring, I probably can't use ring IQ and strategy to put you in a corner or get you on the ropes. I just end up chasing you around. Watching tape of your favourite boxers. Watch what they do. Speak to more experienced people in your gym. Watch videos from people like us on social media who are not trying to be flashy, who are trying to make you better, about strategy and stuff like that. Working out what happens if I defend with this hand, what do I shut down, what do I open up? Yeah, it's no point if I'm going to come here, probably going to bump hands with you instead of opened the flank though. So I might want to, for instance, parry body. I might want to slip body. Working on your strategy all of the time. It's a mental game as much as it is physical. You've probably heard that before. In fact, I would say it's more mental than it is physical. So you need to be working on that as well. Number 10, sparring. Depending on your coach, really, personally in here, it's not invite only to the sparring classes, but it kind of is, in the respect of I want to know that the person who's coming into the sparring sessions has a good understanding of the last 9 things we've spoke about. I don't want anyone coming into sparring who's got their hands down here and they can't move their feet around, they're crossing their legs over all the time and they're trying to block things like this because they don't understand what they should be doing. It just holds up the class and we can't really work on what we're working on from there. But you do need to spar. This is another thing that annoys me about social media and the gram and all that sort of thing and TikTok. To be fair, I do love it as well. You know, you see all these videos of these hard sparring sessions, people getting knocked out. It is good to watch, I understand that. Because I do watch it and enjoy it myself. However, you don't want to be entering your sparring sessions like that. How the hell do you learn anything by just getting your bell rung? You don't, other than you understand now that you probably haven't got a glass jaw. Or you're not made of glass, should I say. Your sparring needs to be controlled so you can learn from it. It's no good if you, right, I've seen it happen before. We've spoke about this in this video already, when people throw a jab and the hand rolls down, but the sparring's got out of control and they don't understand why they're getting hit every time they throw a jab, and now they're gun shy, because like every time I throw that, I'm getting hit. Hands down here as well. I'm like, oh no, I'm not going to throw it. Whereas when it's more light and playful and controlled, every time someone makes that mistake, I get my hand back to my chin. Maybe I've got to move my head afterwards rather than just be getting hit every time. But sparring is essential. If you want to progress into boxing, sparring is not essential if you want to enjoy boxing as a way of keeping fit and healthy. No one says you have to be a fighter to train like a fighter. But if you want to go and do that, yes, you have to spar. Leave the hard sparring for when you're in fight camp. If you have nothing coming up, but you just want to spar, keep it light, keep it playful. Ask your coach what you're doing right, ask your coach what you're doing wrong, where can I improve on, what can I do to make this better, and just enjoy it. So if you've made it this far, there's 10 things that you need to work on. Now, I've done lots of videos in the past of correct technique for jabs. There's an entire series on the ultimate jab that I've done. There's 18 different jabs, how to throw it correctly, how to throw each one correctly, looking for the common faults. All of the other punches as well. There's footwork tutorials as well. Go back, watch them. You don't need all of the flashy stuff. It's great to look at, and I've stated many times, Lomachenko is one of my favorite boxers of all time. And his footwork dazzles me. It is flashy, it's good. You need to take the basics and do them exceptionally well. And that's all it is. Once you've got that, because you need to understand the rules before you break them. Okay? Because if you're just going into doing stuff that you see online all of the time, but you don't have a concept of the foundation, you're going to go wrong. Make sure you've got that complete 10-step foundation. Then do what the hell you want with it, okay? But make sure, because when you get rattled, I don't want you to get rattled, but should you get rattled and you can't get back to that nice steady foundation, it's going to be game over for you. 10-step foundation. Work that. Work it all of the time. Literally just before I'd done this video, I just done my 10 rounds that I do on a daily basis. And I was just working the fundamentals because they never can get worked enough. Until next time, train safe, train hard, train intelligently, and I'll see you soon.